My name is Asha. Why did my son take me to a small room the day after my husband's funeral? I had cooked for him for 40 years. I had washed his shirts and kissed his forehead each night. I thought my son would care for me. But he closed the door and left. I sat on an old chair and held my husband's shawl. Outside, the house smelled of flowers and incense. Inside, the room felt like a prison. I thought of the attic and our old photos. I felt betrayed and very sad. I whispered a secret in the dark. I asked, "Is this my life now?" My name is Asha. The day began early. We cleaned the living room. We put flowers on the table. The neighbors came. They gave us food. My son, Ravi, stood by me. He looked tired. He did not cry. He held my hand one time. The funeral was small. We buried my husband under the mango tree. I planted a small white flower. I thought we would be together after the funeral. I thought we would talk. But Ravi was quiet. He spoke about money and the will. He said, "Mother, you should rest in the spare room." I was shocked. I said, "Why the room? I live here." He said, "We need the other room for guests." I looked around the house. The house felt the same. The heirloom clock still hung on the wall. The attic door was closed. My childhood photos were in a box. My heart felt heavy. I remembered my life with my husband. We had small money. We gave our son good food and love. We did not have much, but we had each other. Now the house felt empty. That night, Ravi helped me to the small room. He put my bag on the bed. He did not sit. He closed the door slowly. He said, "I will come in the morning." I watched his shadow leave. The lock clicked. I stood by the door and touched the wood. I felt hurt. I felt betrayed. I slept on a thin blanket. I dreamed of the old days. The next morning, I found a note on the table. It said, "We will talk about inheritance later." My hands shook. I held the note tight. I thought of my husband and our life. I thought of the word heir and the word will. I wondered about my child and my only heir. How could Ravi be so cold? I heard a sound below. I decided to go down the stairs. I needed to know the truth. The stair creaked under my feet. The door was half open. I saw Ravi with a man I did not know. I stepped quietly down the stairs. I wanted to listen. Ravi spoke in a low voice. The man wore a dark jacket. He looked like a visitor. I heard the word divorce. I heard the word custody. My heart jumped. I stood behind the curtain. The man left soon. Ravi did not see me. He closed his eyes and breathed hard. He looked older than his years. I wanted to go to him. I wanted to say, Ravi, I am here. I waited. When the house was quiet, I went to the attic. The attic ladder was dusty. I opened the small box of childhood things. I found an old letter with my husband's name. The letter said, if I die, promise you will take care of Asha. My eyes filled with tears. I found another paper. It was the will. The will was simple. It left the house to both of us. My husband wrote, share with love. I kept the papers close. I felt warm and sad. I thought of Ravi again. I went to the kitchen. I saw him at the table. He held a phone. He looked at photos. I asked, Ravi, what is wrong? He jumped and said, Mother, you should be resting. I said, you spoke with a man. Who was he? He looked away. He said, he is from the bank. I asked, what bank? What money? He was quiet. Then he said, we are in debt, Mother. He said, we need money for the house. My hands shook. I asked, you should tell me. I can help. He looked at me with wet eyes. He said, I lost my job last month. I lied to you. He did not finish. His voice shook. I felt anger and worry. I felt the old pain of many years. I thought of our small dinners. I thought of the night my husband cried alone. I wanted to be angry. But I also felt pity. I served him chai and bread. He took the cup and did not speak. Suddenly the neighbor's son came. He brought news. He said, the bank calls. They want proof of the will. I held the will close. I walked to Ravi. I said, we will find a way. He looked at me with surprise. He said, you will help me? I nodded. He cried then. I saw a side of him I never saw. I felt a small hope. But I also had a secret. I knew about the heirloom box in the attic. It had been missing for many years. If the heirloom returned, the family would change. I decided to look one more time. The attic light was weak. The old clock ticked. I opened a small wooden chest. I found a thin, folded paper. It was a letter for Ravi, written by my husband years ago. The letter said, forgive and help him. My breath stopped. I held the paper like a treasure. I felt a strange calm. The house seemed to wait. I kept the letter in my sari. I sat at the table. Ravi came with a cup of hot tea. His hands were rough and small. He said, Mother, I am sorry. He bowed his head. He told me the truth. He said he had been lying to the bank. He had sold small things. He had borrowed money from friends. He had hidden calls from his sister. He did not tell me because he was ashamed. I listened. I thought of my years of sacrifice. I was tired. I wanted to shout and cry. I wanted to ask him why he left me in the room. He looked at me with fear. He said, "I thought you would be angry. I thought you would leave." He said, "I wanted to protect you from worry." I looked at the letter my husband wrote. I gave it to him. I said, "Your father wanted us to share the house." He read the paper with shaking hands. He looked at me and said, I was wrong. I thought the house would be lost. I said, "We must be honest now." Then the estranged sister, Mina, arrived. She had been away for many years. She stood at the gate. She asked for a reunion. She said, "I heard about Uncle." Mina walked in slowly. She looked smaller and older. I hugged her. She cried and said, "I want to help." She sat and told us about her job in the city. She said she could speak with the bank. The siblings looked at each other. Old anger moved like a shadow. They talked for a long time. Ravi said, "I did not trust anyone." Mina said, "I did not come home because I was angry about the divorce many years ago." They both said small sorry words. I felt warm. Then the bank man came with papers. He said, "We need the will and a signature." Mina signed. I signed. Ravi signed too. The man left. We sat in silence. Then Ravi walked to the small room. He opened the door. He put his hand on the bed. He said, "Mother, I am sorry for that night." He kneeled and took my hand. He said, "I was selfish." I felt tears. I felt a big weight leave my heart. He became a different man in that moment. He said, "I will take care of you now. I will fix my mistakes." I looked at my sister and my son. The house felt full again. Outside, a neighbor called for a small meeting about the inheritance. The family would speak. The word reunion hung in the air. I knew this was not the end. But I felt change. Ravi was not perfect. He had been a bad son for a time. Now he began to be good. He helped Mina move boxes from the attic. He laughed at an old photo of our childhood. He said, "Mother, forgive me." I said, "I forgive you." His face showed relief. He was learning to be kind. The clock ticked softly. The heirloom clock on the wall seemed to smile. I held my son's hand and felt hope. The house did not become perfect overnight. We had to work on trust and money. Ravi changed slowly. He found small work. Meena helped with the bank. I kept the letter from my husband in a drawer. I used the heirloom as a symbol of our family. The neighbors saw our small reunion. They said the story was like karma and a lesson. I learned to speak my heart. I learned that silence can hurt more than truth. Ravi learned to ask for help. He learned to be honest and kind. The final lesson is simple. A parent can be hurt, but love can heal. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is a choice to try again. For learners of English, remember some words from our home: inheritance, attic, childhood, reunion, sibling, divorce, custody, will, heirloom, estranged. Use them in a sentence today. If you are a child in the story, say sorry and help. If you are a parent, speak and protect your heart. In the end, we found each other again. We shared food, stories, and the small clock that ticked like our life. We learned to forgive and to give love one more time.